Hello, welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices. My name is Maria Isabel Rios. I'm joined by David A. Fields. David, you're on location today. Welcome.
Yes, I'm down your direction. I'm where it's supposed to be warmer, but it's not actually as much warmer as I would have hoped.
I know I want to send you back north.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, for those of you who are watching, obviously I'm not in my normal background. I'm in a temporary locale.
Exactly. And welcome everybody. Folks know the drill. The most questions you ask and comments you post, the better we can tackle them in a practical, tactical way, and hopefully add value to you and your consulting firm doing so. Adam will get to your question. We have it queued up. Thank you for coming in early and reminding us about your question about value. David, what do you think to start today? You want to?
Let's just dive in. Why don't we see Deidre put the first question up, and Marisabel, I'll give it to you because we don't know how strong my internet connection is out here in wherever I am. All right. Kenneth asked, what are your general principles on nurturing prospects into eventual close? All right.
Thank you, Kenneth. That's a broad question as I read it, right? Because we don't know which part of the specific kind of, I met someone and I'm in early conversations with them all the way to, there's an opportunity in front of me and I want to win it. We don't know which stage you refer to. So because you asked about principles, there's a couple of principles that are common at every moment in that whole chain, and even after you win the business. And those are be right side up, which means consulting is about them, and your conversations are about them and what they need and where they see value, and what value you can add to them. And it prioritize connection over winning. For me, those are kind of two universally applicable meaning. If you have to burn your connection to win an engagement or put somebody in a position that feels a little bit forced, then prioritize that connection. That will get you further along the way. Now, if you're writing conversation around a specific opportunity or a potential project you've identified, then there's another principle that comes into in the way, which is to maintain momentum. So maintain a track of set out expectations. When are your next conversations? What are you going to do by when? What are they going to do by when? And keep the conversation on pace. So many times we see conversations frizzle because the next step is not clearly defined, or folks don't commit to specific dates to advance the process of communication. What do you think, David?
Yeah, well, so, I'm laughing because there was a good language piece in there. But that's not relevant to his question. I agree with you 100% on those principles, and I agree it's sort of a broad question. So, like where in the process? So I agree. Right side up and connection; those are the two biggest principles, and maintaining momentum. What you said, what it reminded me of slightly, is something else that Kenneth may want to keep in mind. And by the way, let us know whether this is helping or not. Is that to win a project, because you said, how do we nurture them to close? To win a project, the 6 pillars of consulting success must be in place. Know, like, trust, need, want, and value. Know is established because these are people you are in touch with already. So now it's about like, trust, need, want, and value. And I think all the way along, you can be keeping an eye on that. Am I being likable? So you worry about your client experience and focus on your client experience well before there's a project on the line. Your pursuit phase is still part of the client experience. So are you making yourself likable? Are you being trustworthy and engendering a sense of trust? And then listening, because it's about them, not about you. Are you listening for a need that they want to address, where you can provide value? And if you can fill those 6 pillars, you've got yourself a project. So sort of keeping an eye on them might be another thought. What do you think, Maria Isabel? Yay, nay?
Absolutely. And you brought up client experience. I think when we're in pursuit, people often forget that you can also design or pre-design what you want the client experience to be. All the elements you talked about are part of that client experience. Maintaining momentum is part of the client experience. How do you want your values and the way you work to come across as well?
Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
Excellent. And if you're listening, or if you're listening in the replay, welcome. But if you're listening live, put in a question or tell us, yeah, that was helpful. No, that wasn't helpful. That makes sense. Or here's a little point of clarification that I'd like.
All right, Idra, what's the next question? I'm going to put you on the spot, David.
All right. What do we got?
Oh, Adam, this is your question. Beautiful.
Here we go.
Okay, so you have 3 articles coming out on your work. Congratulations. MSN, CEO World, and Vista Research. Articles written by others have value. What recommendations, David, do you have to maximize that value?
Okay, so we're getting to your question now, Adam. So first of all, congratulations on getting articles published about your work. That in and of itself is a great accomplishment, and you should take some pride in that. So really well done. What should you do to maximize the value? And now these are not articles you've written; these are articles about you, about your practice. So this somewhat surprising answer might be the number one thing you should do with these articles is use them to help you get more articles written about you. Meaning, don't look at having 3 articles about you as being the end. It is a means to get more articles because you want an ongoing stream of articles written about you and your consulting firm, about your approach, about you. You want to be ubiquitous because when other people write about you, you get in front of their tribes and you get the implied endorsement support of them, which is worth far more than you just sort of tooting your own horn. So that's the number one thing. Use it as an impetus to get more. Number 2, though, I think you mentioned LinkedIn. I would absolutely get on LinkedIn and post snippets of the article with links to the articles multiple times. All the articles, every time you're published, is a good reason to get in front of your tribe. And you can reference any given article at least a handful of times, which means over the next 30 days, if you wanted to, you could just post links to the individual, each of the articles, because you don't want to post more than once a day. I think I have to go back to our LinkedIn person, Marie-Isabel, but I think generally the best practice is just posting once a day on LinkedIn. But over 30 days, 30 articles, 10 different ways to mention them. That you've got plenty of fodder there, and then of course you're getting yourself some more. What do you think, Marie-Isabel? Yay, nay?
Yes, absolutely. And also, how do the articles link together? Do they link with your kind of core model of how you see the world? Because they presumably ask you very specific questions, or each author wanted their own track. And, how does it all tie together into the piece that you're working on? You can also give some visibility to that and create further momentum and have folks chime in. One good thing, and thank you for clarifying, Adam, that you never post on LinkedIn. This is a great opportunity to get some steam rolling. Think also of a call to action. If I'm reading the article that was written about your work, is there a question you can ask of me as your reader that will add value and create momentum in the conversation? And perhaps you get to do that 30 times, right? As David was saying. And sometimes the question may be, connect with me if you haven't. What's your call to action, right? Share your own best practices or share circumstances where you've encountered this or not.
Yeah. I'm going to throw one other idea in, because you said you never post on LinkedIn. You come onto LinkedIn. You can invite the author of each of the articles into a live session. You could do something like Marie-Isabel and I are doing here, and interview the author. Why did they write the piece about you? What was interesting? What did they find useful? Right? Again, so you're letting them brag on you. even though you're interviewing them, and attract an audience. And then you've got another little asset that you can use and post and take excerpts from. There's a lot of ways to play with it. The main thing is letting it be the first step in many. So does that help, Adam? Good? Bad? You give a thumbs up, thumbs down. And anyone else have
we'll learn.
a marketing related question? Feel free to post it. Whose turn is it? Is it your turn, Isabel? I'll ask a question.
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay, Deidre, what do we got? Leslie asks, I spend some time with a current client walking through some of the opportunities to drive savings based on the findings from current work. All right, so we're in a client and spend some time walking them through stuff. Is it worth asking the client if they have someone who can do the work, or any thoughts on how to approach this? All right, so this sounds like it's about sort of follow on. What do you think, Marie-Isabel?
Yeah, so good on you, Leslie, for queuing it up, for spending the time with your client, for problem solving with them. One way you can queue it up is say something like, look, I was thinking more about our meeting yesterday and the amount of new work that I may have dropped on your plate. Ouch, sorry, or whatever your way of connecting through that is. You can also say, look, do you think it would be helpful to get some support on a couple of those items? If so, do you want to have a separate conversation about how we may be able to help you translate all those ideas into reality? So basically, you take the turn again, right? Even though it's a client, you're asking them for permission in a right-side-up way, right? Are you open to a separate conversation to take some of those ideas and support you there? We find that with that framing, or in situations like this, clients are more often than not saying yes and being delighted, one, that they were asked for permission, and that the assumption was not there that because you did the session with them, now they owed you more work. So you're being right side up again, you're making it about them. And also that they will really consider areas in which they need help and they want to create additional momentum, or they need your expertise. David, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's, so I agree 100%. Exactly what you said. I don't even have anything to add. Of the techniques we teach, and we teach a lot, the turn is one of the most powerful when you learn how to master it, because it applies in so many places and it is so effective in helping to change context. So if you want to change from the current project context to a new project context, the turn works brilliantly. And yeah, so that's kind of where you came out, and I agree with that 100%.
All right.
Okay. Do we don't have, let's see, we'll try and really quickly do another or not. Let's see.
So David, you'll answer because you're much quicker than I am. So a long-time contact is interested in their services and would like some testimonials to provide to his boss and to others. Current testimonials are based on feedback from handed out during workshops. Okay. Right. Oh, feedback that was handed out during workshops. Okay. Should they contact past participants of the workshops to improve the testimonials? And this is from TJ. Thank you, TJ. What do you say, Dave?
All right. I'm going to do this my best in like 20 seconds. So here's the short version based on what I just read. So TJ, as a general rule, you do not want to be handing any kind of materials to someone to present to their boss or others. You want to be presenting to the boss or others. Okay, so just as a general rule, let's not allow ourselves to be a step away from the decision maker. Each step away you are from the decision maker lowers your likelihood of winning the project by at least 50%. Okay. That said, should you reach out to past participants in your workshops? Yes. As a matter of course, you should be reaching out to them. So you should be staying in touch with them, but reach out to them, find out how they've done, collect data, and from that data, build new, better testimonials. Yeah, that's my short answer. And I'm not going to give you a chance to chime in, Marie-Isabel, because we need to wrap up. We've hit our 15 minutes. So thank you all for coming again. A couple of really quick requests. Put Monday Live in your calendar down there. Deidre put it down there somewhere. That makes it easy to come here. That's one thing. If you have, what's next? Oh, connect to Maria Isabel and me on LinkedIn. There's our links, so connect to us. If you have questions, submit them. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, subscribe. And also, I'm going to ask you next week, bring a friend. Either I may be here or may not be. I'm going to be going to the Boutique Consulting Forum. I'm attending that. I'm super excited, but we will be here. Maria Isabel will be here at least. So come next week. And either way, thank you for being here. Remember that consulting is not about you. It's about them. It's about your clients. It's about your prospects. So treat them with kindness and create value for them, and have yourselves a fabulous week.
Likewise. Ciao. See you soon.